do it.
I knew you would know it. You're old enough. Shows some mental fortitude on it. I mean,
3 defeats. Well, we've seen a lot of those Eastern European countries. I would get right back in the ring and try and pick up where I left countries. Produced so many great amateur fighters. Ready for me. He said, how do you throw a guy with 3 professional fights?
His brother, Vaughn Alexander, two-time champion. So he comes from, and he had a tremendous amount of amateur fights. I mean, he had brotherhood, that bloodline. Good left hand by the bully.
If they don't have to call the medics, you have to sew them up. They usually just kind of
just covering up. So touch the front of the glove just to get an angle. But he knows where he went wrong in the other rounds, in the other fights that he had. Alexander, I think he's going to stand.
That Vaughn Alexander
that showed you exactly what his aspirations were. Look at how Melikuziev is using those angles. He may be a bully, but he's light on them toes. And Melikuziev. Look at that. See those angles? That's what I took apart. But he's a strong puncher instead of a one-punch guy, fighting at a distance, looking for the counter punches. So an angle with the power.
Alexander keeps shaking.
Montel Griffin wants him to step it up.
Maybe he's the Bruce Lee Fred Astaire.
For being a bully, he's dancing really nicely on his feet right there. As his body frame doesn't show you that he's an angle puncher and a boxer like that.
Uzbek
very nifty on his feet.
Well, he's nifty because Astaire of Uzbekistan.
Like that, and his 3 wins, 3 by knockout shows you that he's a puncher, obviously, but he's nifty on them feet. That was a hotbed for boxing.
Good jab there for. I remember your dancing performances. In fact, it was the first main event. Nice straight right hand, a sneaky one there.
Melikuziev was trying to get an angle earlier. I love seeing that. That takes experience from
rounds if you don't throw punches.
Good body shot by the bully.
Back the bully.
And he told us the first day out of prison, he was
karate national champion in Uzbekistan. Sergio, last round I believe you pulled out the Latin snake moves.
That's right.
Carries around all that muscle, move the way that Melikuziev is. Then it's lengthened because of all the fights. He said, well, if you don't hurt him too bad.
From the bully, he's trying to get an angle on Alexander. Very smart and experienced by Melikuziev.
Imagine
that he was straight in the boxing gym. So talk about something about dancing as well. So he's good with his feet. Good 1-2 block, and then you can get an angle like that, and then punch from there, give you time to plant your feet.
Sit for that bell.
And Alexander said this was the problem in his that's your style, then it's not tiring at all. You're doing that in sparring. You're doing that for 8 weeks. Do that again. You get hit by that. When I went wrong in my losses, I may have not gotten knocked out, but I know I went wrong. I didn't punch him.
Coming alive at least a little bit.
And that's what I was saying. Maybe this was his game plan.
Thank you, Todd. Joel, what have you seen up to now?
Alexander protecting the body, but that's also his defense. He has that cross defense, kind of like everyone thinks that moving around the ring gets you tired. You wouldn't get away with it, but fighters like that are on their toes, bouncing around, always getting angles, they could fight with the punch. Fighters like Melikuziev are going to give you hell. They're not going to.
There's a right hand from Alexander.
Step on the gas, midway into this fight, and if that's it, Alexander's doing that. But when you're hitting something, when you're touching something, you don't train to.
That's a long time to feel somebody outside.
He's actually looking for that shot.
This is against really good competition. He's never been stopped, but he gets outworked, and he's getting outworked. You're always hitting something, a heavy bag, a sparring partner.
Your head, guys. Careful.
Alexander's standing in front of him. A la Vasily Lomachenko type. He punches, gets an angle, punches. You see it a lot with a lot of boxer punchers. They fight with their hands down. Melikuziev is not giving them a chance to. So the animal needs to turn it up. Hasn't been able to land anything. And from the southpaw stance, from the lefty stance, it's very difficult to catch up. I mentioned Lomachenko, Tyson Fury for a punch. The output of Alexander, and he was critical of himself. He said, hey, I know when it would shrink. With power, you hurt them. They'll be out on their feet, or it can change the...
9 punches landed for Vaughn Alexander.
Yeah, his hands are low, and he gets away with his hands low like that too because he's really light on his feet. with power. With strength, no, you can still back up to this fight. If you can start stepping it up right.
There's a big right and a left hook. Claudia Trejos now with Joel Diaz.
Anytime you're dealing with a fighter that needs to be
10 seconds, stop at the back.
10, but not. It's hard to close down the distance if you're not using the jab as a key. Alexander finally threw a punch where Melikuziev was going to be. See, like right here, Alexander needs to throw punches just like that.
23, so much amateur experience. That shot stings Alexander. You know, when Alexander does throw, he's connecting more times than not. Well, you heard Joel Diaz saying that Melikuziev,
he didn't throw nothing. Anytime you're an Olympian, like a silver medalist like he was, you know, you're curious what he's in, how he's
hurt to the body. Is that why the animal's not throwing many jabs, because it exposes his body?
No,
that may have been the best punches of the fight for Alexander, but Beck handled him very well.
See, Alexander.
For Alexander, 97 by the Beck.
That's the reason Melikuziev, but with 3 fights in, fighting experience, to really corner a fighter that's moving.
Big right hand. That was the best punch of the fight.
Alexander doing what I said he needs to do. Start putting the pressure, but moving his head. The best round by Alexander, which he still might be losing.
Just not enough output by the animal. Through 6 rounds, 19 power punches. By far for Vaughn Alexander.
Throwing these punches. So Alexander needs to punch. Big hand
right hand again for Alexander.
Use his movement. That's what he needs to do. Put the pressure on physically.
Left hand.
Changing his angles, changing his speed.
Years old, but he's only 23, Sergio. Getting some attention in the corner.
Those always hurt the most. It's punches you don't see coming. And the angle punching from, Alexander's not seen those punches come.
You okay?
I asked you earlier if Melikuziev would start to swing around the ring, but seems to be speeding up, dancing around, laughing. Look at him.
See, Alexander, no jab, just following his opponent around.
On the left eye, it appears of Melikuziev, probably from that headbutt.
To right, stopping on a dime. Beautiful boxing by a punch. He took it well. Right there, going back to the power, going to the body, concentrating on the body, still getting the angles. Just 1 single shot, 2 shots. Not a good look for Alexander. Especially, look, Alexander's never been stopped. He already got the distance down. Just punch away now. Punch away. And the timing down. So now you just got to do it with speed. So if you are going to get the stoppage, something about bald-headed fighters that, you know, you just sit side of the referee where you can't see it. There you go.
The Fantasy Springs Resort and Casino. Melikuziev doing his best to give it to him.
See, that was a chopping right hand by
Alexander. Oh, that looked like an intentional headbutt. Oh, nice left hand, which buckled in.
Those arms, wherever his head's gonna be, not where his head's at. Because Melikuziev has been doing a great job getting in angles. Do it with speed, not power. Because if you miss one, see this by Melikuziev, especially when you have a 3 wins, 3 knockouts, you expect a Melikuziev's head, but it was a total accident right there. That's the reason.
Mark, middle of the forehead, blue corner.
Lands for
Olympian, a silver medalist, so they're gonna move him faster.
counter right of Alexander.
He got an angle. Melikuziev gets these angles and throws shot. You fall off balance and into the hands of Alexander, which is what he's waiting for.
Alexander has a lot of work to do.
Headbutt.
Olympic silver medalist at the 2016 Rio Games.
Bernard Hopkins, anytime the referee was on the right side, he would throw
Better chance of making a comeback. Vaughn Alexander here, or you on the
The
roulette?
referee didn't say nothing, and Melikuziev didn't complain as well.
Round 9 scheduled for 10.
So it's the right opponent at the right time, and he's going to go some reps from that angle. That double the force. Just like that. See, he's peppering him away. That no power there. That power, that was not intentional, but I wonder if they practiced it.
Well, it's still intentional. It may not look intentional. So are you on the roulette table tonight after last night's disaster? Don't in your eyes, Sergio.
Well, look, he has luck with Alexander, so it's a good look all around.
Let's see if Alexander starts to. Are you pushing Melikuziev to try and get the finish here?
Shots.
Stoppage 2 years ago, but none later than that.
Alexander, my money's on the Latin snake. And yes, I spoke in the third person. The right word, because he needs to show it. Caution to the wind. He already got the distance with speed, not power. Look, see right there. Vaughn already got the distance down and the timing down.
Effective aggression. He needs late drama in India. Vaughn Alexander told us his last fight he didn't throw enough punches. He didn't throw enough punches tonight. He's 30.
Southpaw there and swing and a miss.
Getting some whistles. The crowd wants action.
Punches is a sign of age. And at 34 years old, we'll see if he gets another
Fights. But tonight he just has not.
He needs to let them punches fly. I think it's a one-sided fight.
Melikuziev not really a one-punch knockout kind of guy.
Southpaw handles like that, and for a big man like the bully, for him to be able to do that.
Nice left. Alexander keeps shaking his head no. Let's see how aggressive Melikuziev is here in the final stanza.
Very impressive, actually.
Looks like he's trying to land. Ooh, nice left. There's a shot right
there. The angles. You know, I love seeing southpaws that punch.
That's kind of what he needs, though. The left eye of Alexander almost completely swollen shut. And that will do it.